This week on State Champs Hangtime, Michigan. It's officially 2020, and it's beginning to come into focus who are the players in this year's race for state supremacy. We have some great matchups on the hardwood featuring 6 teams currently in our top 25. The hype is real. The message is delivered. Hangtime is back in the house. Let's go! Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior? The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com. Happy New Year, my friends. I am Lauren Plant. This is TJ Kelly, and it's time for another installment of State Champs Hangtime, Michigan. All State Champs programming is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Do you want to play college basketball? Feel maybe that you're not getting the love you deserve? What Coach Josh Pickens is building here at Lawrence Tech is going to one day be, in the near future, a powerhouse. Mark my words. You can recruit yourself at LTUathletics.com. Coming up, TJ is going to rationalize his latest state rankings, which you can find at StateChampsNetwork.com. BCAM's Dan Young will be here to talk about seeding in this year's basketball playoff tournament. But first and foremost, we are about games. We are about highlights. 2 ranked teams went at it recently, and we were there. We begin with the Gotta Get It Hoop Classic out at Grand Blanc High School. The Clarkston Wolves up against the Cavaliers from Flint, Carmen, Ainsworth. The back-to-back Class A state champs in 2017 and 2018 is Clarkston. We have them ranked 4th in the latest top 25 rankings. The Wolves beat Carmen Ainsworth in the 2018 quarters on their way to their 2nd straight title. First quarter, Matt Nicholson feeds it over to Fletcher Lawyer, the sophomore, the fake, and the finish. Wolves at 14-10 after 1. Number 15, Flint Carmen Ainsworth moseyed in with a 4-1 record. Good response in the second. The sophomore point guard, Makai Ellison, going glass. Remaining moments of the first half. Cavs going to take the final shot. Ellison on the move. Excellent. FCA went into the break leading 26-22. In the second half, Wolves started going to work. They have a Mr. Basketball hopeful in the senior skyscraper Nicholson. The Northwestern recruit banks it off the window. But Carmen Ainsworth fired back a few possessions later. The junior Patrick Hollis drains a 3-ball. Cavaliers up 8. But Clarkston outscored CA 20-8 to close the third. Lawyer holding court, knocks down a triple of his own, game-high 29 points. Wolves up 46-42 into the fourth. Early stages of the final quarter, off the Clarkston miss, the junior Rasheed Brown will show you what Brown can do for you. Carmen Ainsworth down just a bucket. But the Big Ten recruit Nicholson wasn't having it. Sets a new school record, 27 rebounds. He also threw in 20 points. Clarkston defeats Flint Carmen Ainsworth 65-56. Wolves 4-1 on the young year. We head to a Montcalm Area Conference Catholic League crossover. Eastpointe taking on the Pilots from Warren de La Salle. Eastpointe coming in undefeated, 4-0. Opening possession of the game, the senior Davion Holloway going coast to coast. Pilots looking to win its 6th straight. De La Salle looked good. Second quarter, the senior Joseph Janai rising, splashing. Moments later, the junior Lyndon Holder with the steal. Kisses it off the window. 15 in the contest. Warren de La Salle went into halftime with the lead. Second half, Holder to fellow junior William Smythe. That's a healthy-looking stroke. He finished in double figures with 14. Pilots out to a 21-point lead. But the Shamrocks weren't done. Davion Watkins, the kick out to Holloway. He gets it down from downtown. He led all scorers with 27. Eastpointe trailed 45-34 into the fourth. But in the end, Pilots prevailed. Smythe spots the junior Brian Schneider in the corner. Warren De La Salle 64, Eastpointe 61. Pilots 6-0.
I'm Jason Hutton checking in from the West Michigan area. West Ottawa at Unity Christian in a very nice non-league matchup. Early on, it's Panthers point guard Blake Pedersen getting the shot to go in the lane, plus the foul. He led West Ottawa with 11 points in the game. But back the other way comes the Crusaders. Cameron Chandler, the sophomore, nice move. This game very tight early on. Later, it's Pedersen leading the charge up ahead to sophomore Brady Bosma, 2 of his 10 points. Unity Christian made some key plays when they had to. Isaac Teslav from the elbow is good. Crusaders win 50-48. Unity Christian improves to 4-1, heading to OK Green play. Non-divisional matchup in the Central States Activities Association. 4-0 Morley Stanwood at 3-0 Central Montcalm. First quarter, Mohawks. Aiden McLaughlin goes to work. Nice handles and the bucket. Morley Stanwood led by 1. Next trip down, senior point guard Axel Woolrith. Left with some room for 3, and he drills it. Morley Stanwood had a 1-point lead after 1 quarter. Second quarter, Central Montcalm goes inside where they've been so effective this season. Senior Trenton Schaefer gets the bucket to go. Hornets have a 2-point lead. Then a little bit later, the shot won't go, but Gunnar Hill, the senior, on the glass. Putback is good. He led the way for Central Montcalm with 18 points and 10 rebounds, but Woolrith was not to be denied. Another triple. He led everybody with 30 points in the game as Morley Stanwood rolls to 5-0 with a 77-61 win.
How you doing? My name is First Class Adams.
Hey, what's up, Detroit? I'm Staff Sergeant Stevens. If you're within the age of 17 to 34, if you look for a job without any experience, we can teach you everything you need to know. Come be a part of the team.
And where you can locate us at is on GoArmy.com/Michigan.
And our phone numbers is 586-774-0218 or 517-214-8542.
Go Army.
All right, welcome back inside the studio. TJ Kelly, how's your new year, my friend?
It couldn't be better. 2020, I always wanted to say it.
Yeah.
And have it mean something.
Exactly, and it does. Very busy over the holidays. I know you had a lot of tournaments and a lot of great games going on. And let's go ahead and talk about some players just right off the bat. And our first game, we had an opportunity to see in the highlights what Mr. Matt Nicholson is going to do his senior year, and I believe he is going to be very productive. Now, a record setter.
27 rebounds. I was there for each one of them. I had him for 28. No, just kidding. But yeah, 27 rebounds. You talk about a kid that has really paid his dues, sat back and patiently waited for this time. And I think that the most important thing that kids can do for themselves is you got to be prepared for the moment. And Matt Nicholson, when he said, hey, you're going to be our starting center as a junior, hey, there were some lumps and bruises and ebbs and flows. But senior year, hey, he's coming out to play basketball, and big reason why they won it, beating Flint Carmen Ainsworth last weekend.
How about some other guys having standout seasons so far?
It was great to see Joe Liddell, University of Detroit Mercy commit. They wound up playing Harper Woods 2 weekends ago in the Motor City Roundball Classic. He scored 39 points and only hit 3 threes. This kid is known for his shooting, and he's going to be a wonderful compliment to Coach Davis over at University of Detroit.
So he's going to rationalize his rankings, and that's going to be coming up in our second Hoop Talk conversation, which will be later in the program.
I'm Jenna Skalski, and we wanted to make sure you guys know that State Champs is not just hockey and boys basketball this winter. Beginning January 10th, the State Champs Winter Roundup will feature highlights and stories from girls basketball, wrestling, competitive cheer, bowling, boys swimming, skiing, and girls gymnastics. Watch the State Champs Winter Roundup on your favorite social media platform or catch it at statechampsnetwork.com or on the free brand new State Champs Network app.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
The greatest honor a high school student athlete can earn, the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, dacathleteoftheyear.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Executive Director of the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. His name is Dan Young. Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, good to see you. Behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, Dan is making it a priority that he works with the MHSAA the best way possible so that the high school basketball tournament here in the state of Michigan can be the best it can be. BCAM represents the coaches. Now, one of the huge issues has always been seeding in the playoffs. There hasn't been any in the past. There is now. I know it's not what a lot of people want, but it's a start. What are we getting?
MHSAA have worked very hard to look at improving, and our Coaches Association over the last at least 3 years have done our research and looked at different ways to improve the tournament. We poll our coaches, we listen to our coaches, and then we go to the MHSAA and they listen to us. And we've tried to improve the tournament, and this is a good start.
So what is it exactly?
The start is that it's still a random selection tournament. It's not a fully seeded tournament. The start is that the 1 and 2 seeds, based on an MPR ranking throughout the whole year, and we're just at the beginning of that, so it's going to really shift and shuffle in the next couple of weeks, will indicate after game 15 the top 2 seeds in each district. Those 2 seeds will go on opposite sides of the bracket. Then from there, it's random selection within each district. So it's a good start, and we're excited. Yeah, it's gonna. It doesn't mean 1 and 2 are gonna play in the district final, because they could still get beat. It happens all the time. But at least you don't have the top 2 playing day 1. And they're opposite sides of the bracket. So it's a good start.
Absolutely. And we were talking off camera. They're doing this in soccer also this year. So boys soccer have already gone through it. The girls will in the spring. But again, this is the process that it takes to hopefully where we can seed then through regionals and maybe throughout the entire tournament to try to have the best teams playing at the end. That is what's happening. We thank Dan. Girls Hoops fans, Dan or other distinguished BCAM guests will be appearing on the Winter Roundup show each week talking girls basketball. This week, he joins Matt Mowry and myself as we delve into the state's top teams. You can watch that conversation premiering Friday at 5 p.m. on the brand new State Champs app or on all of the State Champs socials. What's up, Puckheads? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Times. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock.
I'm Ryan Slocum. We had a battle of Mr. Basketball candidates at Kalamazoo Central with Jalen Terry and Beecher taking on Scooby Johnson and Benton Harbor. And they would both put on a show from the go. The Butler recruit breaking ankles and knocking down the triple to put the Tigers on top. But that fired up Ernest Sanders, the future Kentucky football player, showing off the receiving skills, throwing down the half-court alley-oop from Carmelo Harris. He then gets back on D for the block at the rim. Meanwhile, Terry showed off the range, hitting deep 3 after 3. He hit 5 for 17 points by the half. Beecher took an 11-point lead, but Scooby wouldn't let him pull away. Textbook turnaround Jay. Johnson scored a game-high 32. Beecher still led it 35-31 at the break. And the Bucks come out of the locker room on fire. Mello Harris can't get it to go, but Sanders is there for the putback to put him up 12. Scooby keeps the Tigers in it. 2 straight triples cuts the lead back to single digits. And Johnson and Terry only went head-to-head one time. JT pulls the big man to the perimeter and gets around him for the jam. Couple of trips later, Jalen goes down hard and turns his ankle. He did return late in the fourth, but he did not score again. Meanwhile, Keon Minifield stepped up in his absence, the junior with the teardrop for 2 of his 15. And then Sanders puts on his jammies and says goodnight to the Tigers. Ernest scored 28 as Beecher beats Benton Harbor 76-62.
I'm Jake Durant from the UP. First place in the Great Northern Conference on the line as Escanaba hosts Marquette. Early first, no score. Marquette's Ty Lauderman with a quick power dribble, then explodes towards the rim for 2. It's 2-0 Redmond. Eskimos come back the other way. Brendan Frazier the miss, but he'll get his own rebound. He'll stay patient, and he gets it to go. We're tied at 2. Escanaba going to take the lead a short time later with this 3 from Connor Smale. It's 5-4 Eskimos. Marquette with the answer. Lincoln Sager is money from the corner. It's 7-5 Marquette. The back and forth continues. Frazier going to line one up from deep, and he'll rattle it home. It's 14-12 Eskimos. Later, the Mo's going to mishandle the ball. Cameron Karp with the hustle play. That'll get him an easy one at the other end. It's 18-17 Redmond. Second quarter now. Peyton Fidel threw a little contact. No foul call, but he'll still find the bottom. 23-22 Marquette. Next Redmond possession, Sager. He loves that spot in the far corner. That's cash money. 26-22 Redmond. But unfortunately, the Redmond would only score 5 points in the second quarter. Escanaba would take the 28-26 lead with this Frazier lay-in. With time winding down in the first half, Escanaba moves to 3-0 in the GNC Conference, and they get sole possession of first place with a 63-56 win over Marquette.
I'm Kevin Trozinski, and we wrap up the highlights for the finale of the Gotta Get It Classic at Grand Blanc High School as the Bobcats, hosting our new #1 team in the state, the Eaglets from Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Grand Blanc coming in undefeated and 3rd in our latest top 25 rankings. First half action, this is the freshman RJ Taylor stopping and popping the deep 3 ball in the corner, and he finished with 10 points on the night. Orchard Lake St. Mary's also came in unbeaten to start the season and has a Mr. Basketball candidate in the senior Lauren Bowman. In transition, the Wisconsin recruit drains the triple. The Eaglets led 37-25 as we went into halftime. Grand Blanc would end the third on a 9-0 run as the junior Braylon Neal knocks it down from downtown. Bobcats trailed by a penny at 51-50 as we head into the fourth quarter. It went back and forth in the final stanza. St. Mary's working the ball down low to Peter Nowalka, and the junior drops the bunny, and the Eaglets now up by 5 at 59-54. But back comes the Bobcats just moments later. They cause the turnover. In transition, Taylor gets it to the sophomore Ty Rogers, who gets the hoop and the harm. He finished with a team high 18 points. The Eaglets would deliver the next counter punch. It's the senior Bowman burying the long deuce. He had a game-high 28 points. Now, with 90 seconds to go in the contest, Grand Blanc trailing 62-59. They get the ball up to Jacob Carlson, and the junior gets the 3 to go down, and we were all tied up at 62. But the Eaglets would prevail in this one. The junior, Julian Roper, gets the steal and lays it on in, as Orchard Lake St. Mary's goes on to beat Grand Blanc 69-66, the final.
All right, welcome back inside the studio. What a game. Just saw highlights again of Grand Blanc and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Fantastic closeout performance there by the Eaglets and Lauren Bowman in specific. And this is our Rationalize the Rankings segment. And TJ Kelly does it all for us at StateChampsNetwork.com. His current top 25 is out leading the way. You have OLSM.
Orchard Lake St. Mary's. One reason why they're #1 is because they beat many of the top teams. You talk about win at Grand Blanc. They beat Clarkston handily at home, and you talk about 2 top 5 teams right there. So it's pretty much easy to put Orchard Lake St. Mary's at #1, of course, led by Lauren Bowman, who's headed to Wisconsin. #2, I moved over to Ann Arbor Huron. I love their balance. I think they coach Samaha does a great job. They've got height. They've got point guard in Devin Womack, who's really evolved into the role. Julian Lewis is one of the premier juniors in the class. He's being taken note of by many of college coaches, as he won't have to pay for college, his tuition. Yeah. Moving on, then you also have Grand Blanc, who narrowly lost at home to Orchard Lake St. Mary's. If they were to play 3 times, I don't think that it's going to be a clean sweep. I could easily see, one of those teams getting another win out of that. Also, I'd like to see Grand Blanc when Kevin David Rice, who's a senior, is at full health coming off of an injury. So that's going to have something to play out. I think when March rolls around, I would not be surprised to see all 3 of those teams if they make it to the wrestling.
All right, and then also 2 other teams, West Side teams that are still unbeaten at this point. Again, there's some great basketball being played out on the west side of the state. Talk about these guys since they have yet to lose, Hudsonville and Grand Rapids Christian.
Hey, Hudsonville, they're deep. They've got one of the best point guards in the state in Max Perez, who's headed to Indiana Tech. And then they also have DeGraff, who's a 6'6", 6'7" forward who can stretch the floor, he can hit the boards, and he can also play above the rim. I think that's huge. One thing with Grand Rapids Christian, they beat Catholic Central at home. And if you look at everybody and all the teams that kind of mashed up right there with Grand Rapids Christian and Grand Rapids Catholic Central and then River Rouge, they all played, Catholic Central played both those teams in a week. They wound up losing to Grand Rapids Christian in a tight game, and then they travel over to the east side and wound up winning at River Rouge. So bam, 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 it's easy to put those teams in order just because Grand Rapids Christian, they wound up getting it done on the court. It's easy to do rankings and stuff like that on paper, but it's great to see them, the teams really match up so that you can see, hopefully a great preview of what we're going to see in March and throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, and just lastly, since of course there'll be the talk of the area and the state for all of that's Ypsilanti Lincoln. You've got them now at 10. Where do you see this team developing?
I think that they're just going to wind up growing, maturing together. They've got a lot of new pieces. Simon Wheeler, who's a point guard. You've got Keon Henderson, who they brought in as another guard. Big DeCordion Temple, who helps out down in the paint, getting some rebounds. And obviously you have Amani Bates. And they also have Jesse Davis, who is a return state champion coach. So when you look at those pieces, they started off the season last year with a loss versus River Rouge. Does history repeat itself? Wouldn't surprise me at all. And I think that, Amani Bates, when you've got the number 1 player in the state, anything's possible.
Absolutely. Everything's going to get very interesting very soon. Check out his rankings at statechampsnetwork.com. State Champs Nation, if you're looking for more than just highlights, we recommend you go check out MHSAA TV. There are like 600 high school sporting events that will have live streaming video in the coming week on MHSAA.tv and the NFHS network. Hockey, basketball, wrestling, competitive cheer, go to MHSAA.tv for the schedule. Now in its 11th year, the school broadcast program gives members an opportunity to showcase excellence in their schools by creating video programming of athletic and non-athletic events. Students get skills in announcing, camera operation, directing, producing, and graphics. Pixelot, the NFHS network's automated streaming solution, is used by schools wishing to live stream games but lack the ability to staff the events. The program also gives schools the opportunity to raise money through advertising and viewing subscriptions.
Time now for the MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week. Ernest Sanders for Flint Beecher had himself a game against Benton Harbor. The Kentucky football recruit going up for the alley-oop jam, and that's your MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week.
All right, that's our show, and Scott Bernstein will be back in the saddle next week. The 3 amigos will once again grace the state champ set, but before we go, there will be a ton of games over the course of the next 5 days. What are just some of the matchups, TJ, you think fans should get out and take in?
Well, let's start off with the Fast Break Invitational at Belleville. It's January 11th. Game start at 2 o'clock. You've got Detroit Pershing, who's young. They've got Theron Hill, who's the coach's son, doing a great job. He's got an offer from the University of Detroit Mercy. They play Ann Arbor Skyline. The second game, you've got Pierre Brooks, number 1 junior in the state. Just got an offer from the University of Michigan, so he's on cloud 9. The guys over here, he also has an offer from Michigan State, so it's great to see that competition with those 2 schools jockeying for young Brooks' opportunity to help them out later on. And they play Saline And remember, Saline they made a decent run last year in last year's playoffs. Moving on to the third game there, you have Ann Arbor Huron versus North Farmington, where you have two of the best juniors in the state in Bashir Jihad with North Farmington, the 6'9" big man, and then you also have Julian Lewis, who's with Ann Arbor Huron. And then the final game, Oak Park versus Belleville, and probably going to be Malik Carr's last game played in the state of Michigan as he's headed to Purdue for some football.
What about basketball?
Hey, with basketball, hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, he'll have an opportunity to play at Purdue as Coach Painter is laid out. You know, hey, we'll work with you. You could do that for a little bit, you know, but you know, on the gridiron. But we'll see you on the court as well.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you to TJ Kelly. Thanks again to Dan Young, and thanks to you, the fans. This show is for you, the people. We are going to be at a ton of games over the course of the next 2.5 months. If you see us at one, tell us you like this show, also what you'd like to see. TJ and I are going to continue this conversation, so you can find Hangtime Overtime on Linktree. It is there you will find links to SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and more. Until next time, we'll see you at tip-off.
State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior? The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com.